What's going on, YouTube? What's going on? It's Stormybman, and I am back out here for a little late night talk. Late for me, maybe not for some others out there that may be listening. Um, I had some free time. Stormy B Man was off this week, so I could stay out late. I got my pass, so out here just to talk to you a little bit. Hopefully, some people will come in and want to share in the conversation. I'm broadcasting through StreamYard, which I haven't done but one other time. I had a very nice little broadcast I did a little over a week ago. I had some good brothers join me. I had Drew Titan, a couple others out there, Kurt Sugar, uh, Brooklyn Child, and we just chopped it up. I hadn't used the StreamYard feature. I know a lot of people are using it, but I prefer my other one. But I just opened this one up. Wanted to come out here and talk to you guys and ladies, if there's ladies out there. So what we got? We got Jacob Jennings in the house. He says, salute OG Stormy B Man. Salute to you. St. Cruising is out there. He said, you got your pass. Wives. Hey, man, I didn't mention no wives. What you talking about, St. Cruising? I ain't mention no wives. I said I got my pass. My pass is being able to stay up late and not have to get up and go to work. You know, that's kind of where my loyalty lies with my JOB, because my JOB takes care of me. You know what I mean? You better recognize. So, yeah, we're coming into another fight weekend where, my goodness, has this been a great year for boxing or not? This is really, really cool that we have had so much going on in the sport. Almost every weekend, if not every other weekend, we've had matches. Some have been very, appetite whetting matches. Others have been keep you busy type matches. And then we've also had some upsets and things like that, and not always what we want, because we greedy, we want it all. But all in all, I don't think I could ever remember so many fights in a calendar year. And I don't know if that's because of the access that we have now, whether it's network, streaming, cable, just the various means of accessing boxing and at different times around the world. So that's a good thing. And I enjoy that. I'm sure quite a few of you do as well. St. Cruzen says, oh, work, laugh out loud. Jacob Jennings says, yes, but it could have been better, though. Yeah, it could have. That's what I meant when I said we're greedy. We kind of look towards, wanting more for ourselves. But at the same time, man, how can you really complain? They've delivered. They've delivered to us. And I hope for 2020 to be every bit as exciting and fulfilling as far as the volume of matches. Because I tell you, between doing what we do here when we go live on the streams and talk it up with the community, by the way, shout out to the LDBC. Don't want to forget my brothers and sisters out there. It's a great thing. You don't even like watch regular TV no more or other sports and stuff like that, because we're getting it, and we're getting the content of coverage that we want through our communities and our various channels with the content creators out here. That's great stuff. Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens has joined us. He said, salute my peoples. And St. Cruzen says, it was a fine boxing year. Return of the heavyweights, too. Yeah. And when you can see some heavyweights hit the canvas, and you can see titles changing hands, that's great stuff. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what we look forward to, with things taking off in that manner. So I just look for another year, another calendar year of fulfilling fights. Maybe we'll get a few of the ones that we didn't get this year that we desired. We can go into the new calendar year and somebody will grow some nuts, and start putting it on the line, wanting to be out there, So hopefully, we can only hope. So yeah. But there are a number of reasons why the sport it's moving forward, but at a snail's pace. But there are some good things happening, and there's always, and you can see these guys as they grow. Yeah. Who's that we got? There was someone else that was in there. That's someone posted in the chat, but it didn't show up on my screen. You know what, Jacob Jennings? I'm looking at my StreamYard screen, and it shows you saying Texas is tuning in, but it didn't show up on my other screen. I don't know why that is. That's interesting. But I sent out some links to a couple of brothers out there. If they're available, they're welcome to join me. L File Player, what's good with you, bro? Nice to see you out there in my chat. Hey, listen, L File, would you like to join me on the show? Because this is kind of an open mic thing, and I have sent some links out to some brothers. So if you're interested in joining me on here, you can send your email to my email, my Gmail, and then I can just click on and add you into the panel. That's if you want to talk a little boxing with me. You're more than welcome. Okay. Derek Bailey is out there. He says, salute, Stormybman, salute to you. And Jacob Jennings says, what's next for Deontay Wilder in the heavyweight division? It's going to be very interesting what's going to happen with Deontay. If Deontay decides to do his own thing, that's going to be great, because he shouldn't be chasing other people. He's a king. Kings don't chase peasants. You understand? Go after what he wants, which I believe is the 50-0. And that's what he should focus on. And I don't think he'll have no problem getting there. But he shouldn't be worried about these other guys. There's plenty of skulls to be cracked at the heavyweight division, and they'll fall like the rest of them, bowling pins. The champ is writing his own destiny. So, hey, Reggie, I see you out there in the chat now. If you're ready to hop on, bro, if you finished doing what you was doing, just click on that link, bro, because I sent it to you already. Then I can add you to the studio, because I'm still learning how to do this. This is my second StreamYard broadcast, so Jacob Jennings says, oh, I got you on that one. L Fire Player says, I got you. And Derek Bailey is saluting Reggie and St. Cruising. So now Jacob Jennings, that Texas is tuning in, just popped up on my other screen. It wasn't there at first, though. Isn't that crazy how this stuff happens, man? It's really ridiculous. But yeah, we have an interesting future ahead of us, particularly with the heavyweight division. Man, that heavyweight division, man. They've always maintained, as so go the heavyweights, you know, boxing follows. So if we get those great boxing matches at the heavyweight division, the rest of the sport usually toes the line. So what would be great would be to see these guys teeing off against each other. You know what I mean? The division has to have certain personalities face each other. And we're not seeing that just yet. We have, like, you know, some guys that are beneath the champ who aren't facing each other yet. Everybody who doesn't have a title belt that's in the top 10, you guys need to start stepping up, facing one another, giving the boxing fans someone to support and get behind, so you can get in there and get your behind whooped by the champion of the world. You know, we need to see that. So that's what I want from the division, you know, and that's just starting at heavyweight. But we could go through the rest of the divisions, and you can see that there are more personalities out there that need to follow suit in the other divisions. But let's stay on the heavyweights for a moment, because there's some interesting matchups that can be made at the heavyweight division. You know, I mean, just off the top of my head, when you talk about fighters facing one another, you know, how about, like, you get a couple of guys in there that are, they've suffered losses already, but let them fight each other. Former world champion Charles Martin, how about he get in there with somebody like a Dominic Brazil or Washington? You know, Washington against either of those guys, huh? How about Dillian White taking on Tyson Fury? I had said that earlier this year. I made a video about that, a fight that matters between two big mouths, huh? At least one of them would get closed, right? Tyson Fury and Dillian White. And as I was talking on another stream earlier today, what do you guys think about Dillian White putting on all this weight? I mean, his weight is catching up with his mouth. His mouth is so big, his belly is getting bigger as well. This guy was damn near 300 pounds, man, when he went in there against Walsh. That's ridiculous. And I asked someone to do a fact check on his last 3 fights. He has gained like 40 to 50 pounds damn near, you know, from, you know, earlier in the year, late last year. What a guy, you know. How you gonna, and then to be doping as well, you know, you out here doping and just putting on just weight, just fat, because he don't look body beautiful. You understand? So taking them PEDs and everything, it ain't working for him. And against Walsh, he was like stumbling around the ring, begging to be KO'd, huh? Had no stamina, huh? Had plenty of flab around the belt line. I mean, he looked like a brother that's been off the couch, you know, just coming in, took off his bathrobe and started fighting. And if that's the case, why don't Dillian White fight Mr. Witherspoon, huh? The other great guy who comes up off of the sofa. Remember his challenge this year, just a couple months ago, against Useless, huh? in a match where useless, it was supposed to be his debut at the weight class, but he, struggling to death with a guy that just rolled the fat one and got off the sofa when his phone rang. Psh, crazy, man. Crazy. Crazy and lazy. Jacob Jennings says, do you ever think we'll see a undisputed champion in 2020? At the heavyweights, no, because they're going to try to divide those belts up. There is an agenda afoot that they don't really want Deontay Wilder to be the undisputed champion. And not only Deontay Wilder, but they don't want undisputed champions at the other weight divisions as well. It's funny how that game is being played, which is why they're still creating belts, because that's a way to diminish, someone who may be garnering more and more titles. So they create more and more. So next thing you know, you're just chasing a dream, It's like, it's crazy, man. Totally. Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens says he may have been 300 pounds in that fight. He very well may have been, man. Terrible representation of the sport, too, when you got someone like that. And then he wants to call out as if he should be somebody's mandatory or something. The only thing mandatory I would say for him is to get his ass in the gym and get back in shape, some boxing shape, not in the shape of a circle, not in the shape of somebody who looks like the guy on the before, the after picture. He's the before, and no after. He's just before, and each fight he's getting bigger and bigger. So I don't know if he's the incredible fatting man or something. He's just bulging out of the place, man. Could you imagine the wardrobe he's gone through just in the past year? Putting on all that damn weight like that, man. Ridiculous. So yeah. But I wanted to say, so L5 player, did you want to come on, bro? I think I have another person coming on shortly. It'll be Hyphy and Reggie. So you brothers are welcome, man. Just want to talk it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Stormy can talk by himself. I can talk, but I'm trying to be inviting and welcoming to people. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to bring people together, bro. People have done great things and have welcomed me to platforms and things like that. I just try to look to return that. It's all love with Stormybman. So appreciate the likes out there. If you guys could hit the like button for me. I don't see any likes on there. No thumbs up. Where they at? Where's that at? Ear slutting out here on Stormy again. Ear slutting. I come on people's channel. I hit the like button as soon as I walk in the that's respect. Present Michelin tires. They might make him a rubber belt. Talking about Dillian. Yeah, Christopher, you might be right, man. You may very well hit the nail on the head there. He says, salute, Stormybman. That's like, man. Thank you for that. Smashing that like button, people. Derek Bailey's out there. What's good with you, Derek Bailey? Good to see you, bro. Yeah. Yeah, man. But this heavyweight division, man, there are fights to be made. You know what I mean? This for a matchup. Povetkin and Ortiz, huh? Two elder statesmen in the division. Grandpas. Get on in there and mix it up. The two of yous, huh? And one of them be guaranteed a, you know, two old dinosaurs like that. Ortiz, Povetkin, they both have suffered losses, you know, but they are guys who are respected in the division, you know, for their accomplishments. Let's get together. Let's mix it up. Huh? Kalnaki and Ruiz. Huh? How about that? Kalnaki and Ruiz. You're talking about good matchups here where these guys can get in there and get some respect, you know. And we know that Andy needs to work on getting respect back after his performance against AJ in their rematch. It's time for him to, you know, do something, you know, get back out there. I think that Joshua has a plan to stay away from Deontay, so they'll keep feeding him mid-tier guys and no one who's been active, you know, no one who's had like 2 fights this year or a fight in 9 months. They want somebody who's kind of getting off the sofa too. That seems to be their beck and call. That's why they wanted Big Baby Miller. Big Baby Miller was supposed to conform to a script, but because he popping off at the mouth, he popped dirty for the fight, and there went his chance. He's actually begging to come back in the graces, and Ed Hearn just look at him like, we don't know you, boy. You know, disgraced himself. He out here in these streets. But that's, you know, that's what they do, man. That's what they do. So, yeah, buddy. Now, as we go down in the weight classes, I think at light heavyweight, I skip the cruiserweight because there's no glamour there at all. But at light heavyweight, that boy Bitterbeef looks like something. You know what I mean? He looks like a destroyer. I don't know much about his boxing skills because I've only seen him crushing guys. Hey, he's the real crusher. I don't know what Sergey Kovalev thought he was doing, but he's on his way out anyway. And Gavaskit, you know, Teddy Atlas ruined him, trying to convince him he was a fireman, running into a blazing building, and the whole damn house collapsed on him. So much for that. He can go back to the drawing board and come back and try to repair himself. But when you get destroyed by a puncher like he did, it's not real easy to come back from that so easily. There's a lot of mental work that has to be done, mental repairing, you know. So that's what he's going to have to deal with. And we'll see if he can deal with that, because, hey, when guys, you know, it's like your spirit, you know, your spirit gets broken. It's got to be rebuilt. It's got to be mended. Some guys never come back from stuff like that. You know, they get to a certain level and then they tail off. That's what happens, you know. Jacob Jennings says, I want to see the Hassan Rockman in the heavyweight division. Well, Hassan is, you know, Hassan Rockman, man, he was a pretty decent heavyweight for his time. But he was just in an era where there was some bad mama jammas, Jack. You know, with Holyfield and Lennox Lewis out there, you know, they stood in the way. And we know what happened when he faced David Tua and Oleg Maskav. Oleg Maskav, man, when he put Rockman through those ropes, man, I was like, damn. You know, Maskav had a good right hand, man. He had a good right hand. I remember when he fought David Izon. David Izon, and he went into the trenches, bro. Tough fight for those guys. Very tough fight, you know. And I don't know. I kind of looked at Maskav like a heavyweight Costa Zoo, because he was that big puncher with that right hand. He kind of pawed with that left a little bit. Sometimes he'll put something on it, but he was always looking to shoot that right hand. Very strong. Very strong. Christopher Jornay says Ruiz is a one-hit wonder. Yeah, but he hit that dinner table more than once. You know that, don't you? It's like you got to get beyond that, man. Put that table back, push it back, and put that fork down and that knife, you know, spoons and shit. Jacob Jennings says Bitterbeef can jab. I really underestimate him in his last fight. Well, more than that, he places his punches to the body very well. I mean, with the power he has, it's like he saps his opponent's energy, because he's pounding them. He's like a George Foreman at light heavyweight, you know. And if you ain't in real good shape to go 15 rounds, you know, he can put you in a bad position, you know. So that's something to think about, you know. You have to watch out for guys like that. You got to be able to box him, tie him up real good, bang him to the body some to take some of his strength away. You know, it's important to be able to do that and understand why it's important to do that. Take some of that power away from him. You don't try to knock him out early, because you just going to make yourself fade. You box him, give him movement. You know what I mean? Tie him up, turn him, keep him turning. Punches like he need to have his feet planted to get his best shots off. So just when he's about to throw something, you take a half step to the side or to the back, you know, and hit him and turn again, you know. I want to welcome my man, Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens. He's out here with me now. What's going on with you, Reggie? How you doing, bro?
Oh man, doing good. Just finished cleaning up after these kids. You know, they create disasters. So
yeah, man. I just felt compelled to come on and talk a little more boxing. I was listening to you guys, you and D Style. Great show, by the way, you guys put on this evening, man.
Very man, appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, you know, I've been on and off all day listening to, you know, various shows and whatnot. Man, when I'm off work like I am, I love this, man, because I don't get tired, you know, because I know I ain't got to get up. It's fun. Yeah, Christopher Jornay says you can't push a table back if you have a rubber band tied to it. He ruined the heavyweight division with that dumb move. Guess you must be talking about Ruiz. Yeah. The best thing going for Ruiz is the opportunity for redemption. Hopefully it can motivate him to do better and come back. But I have a strong suspicion that may not be the case. I think that he is going to pack it in. And when I say pack it in, I don't mean he's going to quit boxing, but we may not see the guy who was exciting back in June like that. He might be a little more cautious. He may be a little more calculating. But all he has to do is be reminded of who he is. And he's a fighter. Again, I just harken back to when Evander Holyfield talked about him at 19. A guy like that at 19 taking on a Holyfield that's 46 years old in the boxing gym and basically running the. So that's what he needs to hang his hat on. The fact that he is more than capable. All he has to do is be more than capable to stand his ass out of the damn kitchen. So what you got, Reggie?
With Ruiz's redemption,
Yeah.
man, it's going to be a hard climb for this kid, man. And it's just based on him getting opportunities. Now, Dillian White's making all this fuss about wanting the fighting. And that is a big opportunity for him to kind of crawl himself up out of this hole he done created for himself. If he can go ahead and upset the whole plans of Dillian White, knocking off of a mandatory challenger to the WBC champion, maybe this would be put him in good position. And then possibly with him defeating a Dillian White, I'd like to see him in there with a Luis Ortiz. And then just continue from that before he gets a championship spot. I don't think just from defeating, for him to defeat Dillian White, that should put him in the title contention. I think he needs another tough test to prove himself, and Luis Ortiz would be the perfect guy. Or hell, why Dillian White can't go after Luis Ortiz, but he's looking everywhere else, but still ignoring this one man who he's afraid of, and that's Luis Ortiz. So maybe if Ruiz can get his big ass back in the gym, do all the appropriate things he needs to live life like a champion, maybe he'll get back in that position.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It starts with self. He has to look in the mirror. And if he looks in the mirror, he should not like what he sees, because he saw a guy who quit on himself. He didn't quit per se like Joshua did back in June, but he didn't do what was necessary to retain his position. So he basically quit on himself with that. And the only one that can motivate him is himself. He can hear all of our criticisms, our put downs, and our ridicules, but it has to make a difference to him. And if he's content with that, he's gone bye-bye. That speaks volumes about his character, you know? So let's see, we got Jacob, who is that? Jacob Jennings. Christopher Journay, I'm sorry. He says, one of my favorite heavyweights was Riddick Bowe. That's an interesting select there, because Riddick Bowe was a huge underachiever. Actually, you could consider him along the lines of Andy Ruiz Jr., because when Riddick got his touch to fame after defeating Holyfield, he came into his rematch with Holyfield out of shape. I almost forgot about that fight, because that's the famous Fan Man fight. And I believe had Fan Man not entered the ring that night, Holyfield was working his way toward a stoppage of Bowe in that fight. Do you recall that fight, Reggie?
Heck yeah, I do. Heck yeah. Man, that whole what did they have? 3 fights? That whole trilogy between them was some epic stuff. But the Fan Man, the one thing I can't recall off my memory is who won that fight. But I remember that was a real epic fight, man. And I always view it's like when things got tough, it was always seeming like anytime Riddick got off is when it seemed to ignite something in Holyfield. He battled his way back, man. It just showed the toughness. And then, I didn't have the knowledge that, because I was much younger, that Holyfield was moving up from cruiserweight, him being that much smaller than Riddick, and it just a testament to how tough and how real Holyfield was. All I remember is on the West Coast, everybody was, we labeled him as the real deal. So He ended up getting
Yeah,
that real deal attachment, mainly from a song that Snoop released, but we always recognize him as the real deal.
yeah. Evander was he was another one of those fighters who could rise to the occasion of the opponent challenging him and testing him. The only difference between he and Bo was their physical sizes. If Holyfield were 6'4", 6'5", and 230 pounds like those guys, Lennox and Bo, Holyfield probably could have gone deep into his career undefeated because he fought like those guys, but he was nowhere near their size. It's amazing what he was able to do with the two of them, and only got knocked out once in 5 fights between the two guys. 3 with Bo, 2 with Lewis. And can you imagine, because of what those guys did to their other opponents, Holyfield was only in 5 fights with those 2 gentlemen. He was only stopped in 1. That's a huge accomplishment right there. Speaks to volumes of who Evander was as a fighter. And by the way, Reggie, the Fan Man fight was the second fight between he and Bo, and that's the fight that Holyfield won. And he won a majority decision. But as I said, just before Fan Man fell into the ring, Holyfield was getting the better of Bo. Those couple of rounds before Fan Man, he was countering Bo and fighting Bo at a distance where he was hitting Bo and Bo was swinging, he was missing, and Holyfield was countering them again. And it was smart fighting and great tactics and plans by Emmanuel Stewart, who was training Holyfield for that fight. Amazing, right? Emmanuel Stewart is his trainer for the fight, and he wins. Now, Emmanuel wasn't there for the third fight, but it just, again, Emmanuel just knew how to train men. He knew how to teach them. He knew how to bring them along. And it was just something that you could see everyone he worked with. That's just like when Emmanuel was working with Lennox, he was able to tell Lennox all of Holyfield's weaknesses. You understand? Like, he didn't like to run. So make sure you drop them left hooks to the body. That was Holyfield's weakness, his body. Although he had those muscles and everything that he packed on to give him more weight, it took his stamina. It sapped his stamina when guys went to his body. And the 2 fighters that really went to his body that both produced knockouts against him were Riddick Bowe and James Toney. Even though Holyfield was an older, fading fighter when he fought James Toney did excellent body work, drew Holyfield in, and was countering him like crazy to the face and to the body. You know, that was exciting. James Toney was a hell of a fighter, man. Hell of a fighter.
Yeah, James Toney is one of my favorite fighters of all time. But I really hated watching him do that to Holyfield. I hated that.
Yeah, you know, in his fight with Holyfield later claimed that the shoulder problem that he had an operation on and everything, you know, it returned and he couldn't lift that arm and stuff like that. But I believe Holyfield wasn't in his best shape when he lost fights like that, and to Chris Bird. And, you know, it's like those guys were not supposed to beat him. And he could have beat James Toney, but he was going to have to box James Toney. See, I'll give you a rundown like this, a synopsis of that. Holyfield wasn't training like he was supposed to, even though he would come in at the proper weight, you know, the same weight. He was always consistent, but he had stopped running and stuff like that, and he did a lot of sparring. But it's like Holyfield got lazy, man. He enjoyed being called the warrior and all of that, but he did cut the corners. And that was something that was readily apparent. And when he fought James Toney, You have to understand, James Toney would give you moments in a fight because he'd get lazy. And his laziness, he would let you get off. He wouldn't chase you down. He would look for you to come to him and things like that. And Holyfield didn't take advantage of those things. He walked in to James Toney like, well, he's smaller than me. I'm going to go in here and knock him out. That was the worst thing he could do because James was not really smaller than Holyfield. James was probably closer to Holyfield in size, strength, and weight than any other fighter that he fought in his career at heavyweight because James Toney weighed 200 pounds in high school as a quarterback. You understand? So it's like he had plenty, to offer Holyfield. So Holyfield was supposed to box him, set something up, draw him out, but he didn't fight a smart fight. And James took advantage, as well he should, But yeah, that was awesome. Derek Bailey is asking, did Holyfield ever run? Oh yeah, he ran. When he was chasing the heavyweight title, when he moved up from cruiserweight, Holyfield did all of that. He was a gym rat. He Holyfield, one of the things that they prided themselves on was how he trained in the gym. He kind of was like Anthony Joshua with the cross training and all of that stuff. Holyfield was doing all of that, lifting weights and stuff. He had Lee Haney and then that other guy, Chaz, what his name? Chaz something, who was a Olympic, not Olympic, but a bodybuilding competing guy in the professional bodybuilding. And they were successful in what they were doing. Holyfield began to drop that after being the champ for a while, like maybe going into. It's just like Emmanuel got him to do some things that he had gotten away from when he was training for Bo in their rematch, which was interesting because, Emmanuel had a way of convincing people, convincing fighters. Plus, he had a name that people respected in the sport. So if you're going to train under Emmanuel Stewart, of course, you're going to listen to what he has. Emmanuel trained Oliver McCall in a victory over Lennox Lewis. So there must have been something that Emmanuel could bring to the table for people because McCall was thought of nothing more than a journeyman heavyweight. But he knocked out the WBC champion, Lennox Lewis, with a single punch in the second round. So, there you go. But yeah, I just been chattering a little bit, Reggie. Is there something you'd like to talk about? Because this is an open mic thing. We're just having boxing talk and interacting with our chat. So if you got something you want to share or add, it don't have to be on what I just touched on. But
now I don't have too much on the mind. I'm gonna go slip out and get some food in a minute. The thing that's tripping me out is this WBC crap and the whole Devin Haney deal. Like, why are they taking these quick steps, these quick actions on him? It almost runs into the question of race. Like, why is this young dude being held like this when he's going in due to an injury? It's almost like they're stripping him of the title, placing this new attachment label on him as champion and recess crap, and now you're giving Fortuna a shot at a title, for a vacant title. It's almost a trip that Fortuna is even lying in this position. But I mean, this crap is crazy. And then you're going to give a guy who lost that title shot against Lomachenko, Luke Campbell, this second go at it, and then also bypassing other folks that are rated high wherever this ranking is. It's almost like the WBC is out here just freelancing the hell out of whatever the hell is going on over there. And it's craziness. And I almost think this is a way for them to try to circle shit back to this title back to Lomachenko, being that this franchise thing went haywire on their asses. And it's just a bunch of crap with this organization, as it is with all of them, trying to strip people once they gain titles, this quick forcing of calls for mandatory defenses, or otherwise give us our belts back. Like, and this just adds to the more reasoning behind where these belts shouldn't even be at play in this game. Like, that's the thing that's bugging me out.
Well, isn't it interesting that they're doing that to him, but they didn't do that to Keith Thurman when he was laying on ice or something for a long period of time? So it's kind of interesting that I think there may be another motive behind doing that, because Keith Thurman, remember, he sat damn near 2 years not doing something, having these superficial soft tissue injuries that he wasn't competing, and people were saying, why don't he just give the belts up and come back? So you think maybe the WBC is kind of looking at it like that, because Thurman was a high profile fighter that held those titles, and they heard the moans and groans of the other fighters in the division, as well as fans who was like, man, this guy don't want to fight nobody. So you think it's kind of one of those things that they're trying to head that off at the pass?
No, I think it's a target. They ain't doing that to Earl Spence. He's going to be out for a while. But I think it's all behind how this thing backfired with Lomachenko and all the flack they've taken, and how Lomachenko's taking a hit as well. I'm not too sure what the heck I can see, but I don't understand making these other dudes a champion and him having to go fight back for his title. Now, what happened if these other guys go right into another fight and he's sitting there? So do you now strip these guys and they're no longer champions? This is where a bunch of problems are going to, kind of persist in that with what they're doing with this belt. Or say he's out for a while and these guys are just making several title defenses, and Fortuna decides he doesn't want to fight him. Do they strip him now? Does that belt go back to Devin Haney, or it's just craziness?
Yeah, I see what you're saying with that. I need to look more into what's happening. And by the way, because I haven't had a chance to hear, even in conversations or other streams and everything I listen, what exactly is the injury that Haney has right now?
I haven't seen the report. I know he went in and had some shoulder procedure. Not sure what happened in that last fight. But
I do remember him coming out of that fight and they said he hurt his shoulder, but he finished like a champ, and we couldn't even tell, by the way he fought. So he did have something with the shoulder coming out of the fight. So is that what he had addressed?
Yeah, he had that same shoulder, and it looked like it was like a one-day procedure. Looked like he moved a little bit. He flexed in the photo that he took, but he had the shoulder in the sling and whatnot. So I don't think the timeout is going to be long, and that's what's crazy for them to strip him like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I or about why they would take his title away from him, but those shoulder problems, depending on which one it is, and I think for him it might be his right shoulder, I think, or left shoulder. I don't know.
Yes, it's the right one. It's the right.
Yeah, the thing. I've had a shoulder separation. I had one when I think I was a senior in high school, and I got it boxing. Actually, I was boxing, and dude, it's not fun. Just today, I had a twinge in that shoulder, and this is, 40 years later. It's like ridiculous, but I never had surgery on it or anything. I just, I separated it and they put it back in, and I wasn't going to be no professional out there doing stuff, so I opted not for a surgery. But I did. I didn't tear the rotator cuff, but I could have. Just one of those weird things. But it's each person can is different. And I can remember over the years, it's like 2 times I almost popped it out again. But I haven't almost popped it out in a number of years, and I'm glad for that. But it's like once it happens, it can happen again. Now, Buddy McGirt had a terrible shoulder injury with his left. He had a torn rotator, and it basically took his left hook away from his boxing skills. And Buddy McGirt was a very good boxer. He threw combinations. He had decent power and pop on his punches. But when he couldn't throw the left hook anymore, he realized that he was a limited fighter. Just like when he fought Purnell, he was limited against Purnell, and Purnell knew it. And Purnell was like, Purnell was a mean man in the ring. He was hitting Buddy McGirt in the shoulder and shit on purpose. he was like taking shots at Buddy's shoulder and shit, man. And it's like, man, I don't know, man. But that's the kind of stuff you're supposed to do. This is boxing. You get wind, oh, he's hurt over there. That's where you hit him. Shit. But Sweet Pea was a mean dude, man. Yeah. Let's see. Christopher Jornet says they want to give that belt to Loma so he can become undisputed. Yeah. And then he'll win the undisputed and then put it down again. And they give it back to Haney and say, oh, here's your belt, bro. Dirty so-and-sos. That's what they're going to do, man.
Heck yeah. That's why I'm tripping about it.
Man. That's crazy. But hey man, what do you think about the fight that's coming up? Not this weekend, but the next weekend with Charlo and Harrison rematch. What do you think about that fight, Reggie?
That was gonna be good. It's gonna live up to all the ish they talking. This one's gonna really live up to it.
I think this is gonna be fireworks for the new year right here. Pre-New Year fireworks.
Now Charlo's issue is those emotions. That's the biggest issue for him, is those emotions. Now he has to control his aggression because I don't think he's the better boxer. So I think he has to go in there and try to impose his will with being a control, aggressive power puncher. Otherwise, if Tony Harrison's getting in his head with all the talk he's going to be in there talking, he's going to have Charlo out there winging off unnecessary punches that he's missing, and just put on the jabbing clinic on Charlo and just stay in Charlo's head. He lives in Charlo's head right now, and that can be bad news for Charlo if he is to try to go back after these titles. But I think both fighters are going to be in tip-top shape. Mentally, I think Harrison is right where he needs to be. And I think he may end up, being that he captured these titles and now he's understanding where Charlo is, he may end up keeping these titles, man. I think I favor Harrison in this fight.
Yeah, man, that's kind of crazy. But you made a point there where you said that, you think that Harrison is the better boxer. But, Charlo was a very good boxer till he found some little power that he had, where he was he went on a little, I think it was like a 7 or 8 fight win streak where he was knocking guys out, stopping them. And I think he got a little prideful, thought he was, knocking guys out, I want to say shout out to, I think that might be 78 with a super chat. I mean, not a super chat, but a PayPal donation. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Yeah, he was, he was a little caught up in the fact that he had started to knock guys out. And that's good stuff, because he can revert back to being the boxer he was before he was stopping these guys. And now you have a chess match. Now, this is, he's a decent boxer. He has a good jab, and he has a strong right hand. but he's not very aggressive. He likes for people to run into stuff. He doesn't pursue. He doesn't look to set the pace or anything. He looks to just, kind of work a person around and run them into something or whatever. Now, if Charlo, who I think is capable of being more diverse, he can come in sometimes. He could try to draw the guy into him or whatever. This is going to be a good fight. It's not going to be somebody just going in there banging somebody out. And he has to perform, meaning Charlo, he has to perform with his emotions in check and all of that. We know that. But I think this is whereas the first fight, he was favored. Charlo was favored. But in this fight, because of how the first fight went around, and it was close. Don't forget, the decision could have went to him, and we wouldn't even be talking about a rematch because he was the champ. But it's okay to have rematches, whether you're the champ or not, because it does the sport good. It gives you quality, and it does the fighters good, because fighters who lose decisions or even maybe by a stoppage or something like that gives them something to work on. It gives them something to shoot for. And that's what you need. You need fighters who are going to do that. Go back to the drawing board and to get better. Shout out to Chris Jornet with the PayPal donation. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you on that. Thanks for supporting the channel. So I think this is the type of fight where both guys they're going to have to mix it up, but they're going to have to be careful as well. Harrison is going to have to perform at a certain level simply on the principle of him talking all that crap. If you can't do that, then it's going to be, difficult. If you can't do that, you know what I mean? So, is that my man Hyphy? We just added in there. Is that you with another one of your aliases, bro?
You on mute. You on mute.
Mute, bro. Take your mic off, bro. Yeah, so that's how I see it, Reggie. I do see it as, you know what it's like? This is very interesting. It just came across my mind just now. It's like Whitaker and McGirt.
Yeah, classic shit right there.
Yeah, that's what this is like. But I'm not saying these guys are Whitaker and McGirt, but it's that type of fight where their styles, they're both boxers, but I consider Charlo a boxer puncher, and I consider Harrison a boxer with a punch. So it's like, there's something to be, something to be said about that. When fighters like this, because like you make a mistake, then the other guy capitalize with a flash knockdown or a straight knockdown or something like that. It can change the tide of a fight. That's what you can find with when you put these type of guys in with each other.
Right. And OG, I'm gonna get ready to go get me some food, man.
Yeah, man, you gotta feed yourself, bro. I appreciate you stopping by, man.
Oh, yes, indeed, man.
Salute to you, bro.
All right, I'll be in the chat.
Okay, peace.
All right now.
Now, hey, is that Hyphy or is that Kane? Which one of you? Bro. Hello.
Okay, what one?
Who is that?
What one, Stormy?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Okay, see, yeah, this is my first time using a ting, so I really don't know how to use the StreamYard ting much. What
Oh,
one?
okay. I thought that was you, but you put that laugh out loud. Trump had a seizure up there.
See, fire burn. Blood clot.
Yeah, man. Uh, I want to go back to the chat for a second. Christopher Journet says Harrison wins again. BBG is out there. He says, yeah, they knew the public wouldn't go for Loma being undisputed without Haney's belt. And Christopher Journet says he should have stayed with Shields, talking about Charlo. And BBG also says Charlo need to build to pace as the fight progresses to break down Harrison. Don't know if he can do it, though. Big Doe says salute Stormybman and the chat. And we got the other brothers just saluting each other. Yeah, so I've been waiting on you, bro. I wanted to talk to you about tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow night, but Saturday night. The big fight. We got Mean Machine, taking on Terrence Bud Crawford. What do you have to offer on this, man? We can open it all the way up. Whatever you want to talk about.
Ooh, I agree. All right. So, look, everybody say, oh, this is this man, he's unknown. He's a bum. Things of them. But see, this is the thing. Crawford is going to treat him like that. When you fighting a guy and he's whatever you say, he ain't supposed to be in the ring with him. That's how Crawford gonna make him look come Saturday night.
Yeah, I believe that too. I want to say shout out to Fight Hype because I watched the interview with his trainer, and the trainer was talking about how they've been studying Crawford and everything, and how they feel like everybody's overlooking them and everything. I don't ever think that Crawford overlooks his opponents. I don't think he ever does. He has that little thing in him where he's like Deontay in the sense that when he's into a fight, he has that switch. Deontay says he turns into the Bronze Bomber. Well, I think Bud turns into that fighter when he gets in the ring. It don't matter who the opponent is across from him, and he ain't a nice guy in the ring. So Mean Machine better bring it, And his trainer was saying in the Fight Hype interview, he was saying that they thought that like Benavidez was doing some good things with him and everything until he stopped using his jab and things like that. And I was like, okay, if that's what you think, but could it have been that Crawford took the jab away from him? It's like sometimes, I understand trainers that want to, build their fighter up and build their confidence up and everything, but very few of them are honest with their fighters, and that's where they go wrong. Look at Dennis Hogan against Jamal Charlo. Dennis Hogan, he went out there thinking he had a plan, and he was going to do certain things, and he would be effective as long as he stayed out of the range and out of danger and gave movement and this and that. But they didn't realize that Jamal knew how to cut the ring off, kept his hands up in the proper position, could punch off of moving. That was something they didn't expect, you see, because that's how he got knocked the fuck down. He was moving, and he moved right into that damn uppercut that put him down for the first time. And then Maul later set him up with a feint of a jab to the face and turned it into a hook and knocked him out. So it's like when guys have skills, you have to respect their skills and find ways to counter and, be able to adjust on the fly if necessary when you're competing. But it's like that's okay, because when a fighter can take his game to another level, that's when these things come out. And it's like, you know, that's when you get, you know, exposed, as people like to use the word. This guy, he's had some success, but he's also had, you know, a couple of fights where, you know, I've seen like guys on his record, like that dude David Avanasian, you know, he TKO'd him, and that guy Ray Robinson, where he got that majority decision over him. You know, a draw. Actually, it was a majority decision draw. I mean, Crawford stops people, you know, and he stops them with a certain type of tactical. You know, it's a breakdown. You know, he makes adjustments while he's in there. He see what a guy's offering or whatever. He's a quick thinker. He can adjust on the fly. People don't respect that. They just think of him, oh, he's a guy that switches and, you know, he moves and this and that. But that man has some fight on the inside. And he's not a guy that you disrespect his skills. You don't sleep on his skills. Yeah, he may not have fought the guys that you would like to see him in there with at that weight class yet or whatever. But dude, he's a damn fighter, a real fighter. And you can't sleep on that. Well, I mean, what do you got to say on it, Hyphy? What do you got to say?
Yeah, so this is the thing they say. And I'm gonna show you how he's a great fighter. All right, usually when you got fighters who they might fight, you know, let's say for example, LaCharlo, he been fighting guys who would say is not on a level of him, like the top guys. But you seen in what was it, the Korobov fight, and what was the other fight? The other guy fought after that.
Who fought?
Charlo Jamal.
Oh, the Brandon Adams.
Seen. Okay, so you know he struggled with those type of dudes. Now this, I'm gonna show you this what separates a good fighter from a great fighter. When Bud fight dudes who you say not on his level, all of them he smoke them. He destroy all of them. The John Molinas, the Mean Machines. He smoked all of them. He don't ever struggle with a dude that people discredit. So
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. And he also, like I said, he has that freaking mean streak. And people underestimate him because he's a smaller guy. Yeah, he's a smaller guy, but he's still a true welterweight. He's been at the weight class for a couple of years. So if you were going to get a hold of him, a couple of years ago would have been the time to get him when he first come up. But he's adjusted to the weight. He's adjusted to the strength and everything now. So he's a welterweight. Let's stop talking about him being smaller than everybody. You understand? Because Canelo was smaller than a lot of people too. But he was putting on weight and, you know, having success against people. So, I mean, the only thing, like, let's say it like this, I put this out there right now. The only thing that I have with Crawford is his detachment to his people. That's my issue with him. But as a fighter, I respect what he brings to the ring. I will never be sleep on that. But how he handles or doesn't handle dealing with his own, that's something I have a trouble with him when it comes down at the end of the day. But I don't have to live with the guy. All I got to do is tune in when he's on TV, you know, and watch his matches. So, but as far as what he has to bring, if this guy, Mean Machine, you know, decides he wants to go in there and test him, I'll tell you this much. Bud don't have baby nuts. Okay? Shout out to G Funky with the baby nuts and the Ruben Guerrero. But no, he doesn't have baby nuts. He can stand on it. And I've seen him do that in a couple of occasions, you know, not saying that a couple of occasions is all that he has to offer, because he's done it. And he was also, for like one person mentioned on an earlier stream, I think, like, you remember when Earl went over to the UK and defeated Kell Brook, you know, Bud, he went overseas and won his title too, you know.
Yeah, but don't forget.
I mean, you know, that's nothing to sneeze at when you can go across into another country and beat that guy for his title. You know what I mean? He should. What was that guy's name? Gene?
Which one?
The guy he went overseas to beat. I can't remember his name.
That was garbage. Ricky Burns. You know, the mans who get all of them gifts.
Yeah. Burns. Not that Burns was a great fighter, but just going over there to Glasgow, you know, and whoop the dude's ass in his own backyard. That was great stuff. So if you're going to give that type of credit to like Earl, you can give it to him too, you know?
Same.
So, but it's funny because, see, but this is also why fighters at the top of the game need to fight each other, because first of all, if they meet up, their competitive juices get to flowing, right? And it's like, I got to beat this guy. I got to beat that guy. You know, that back and forth. And you're going to have a winner and a loser, right? So it's like, that's going to stimulate the guy to even come back stronger or whatever. So you have a rematch or something like that. But when guys are just not facing each other, all we have is paper. What's on paper. And that don't never work, because sometimes, and even when you see it happen, people still don't be convinced. Their favorite fighter got his ass whooped, got knocked out. They'll make up excuses why it happened for the fighter. Well, you know, he was drained at the weight, and he, you know, no, he got his ass whooped, man. You know what I mean? That's your favorite fighter, but face up. It's like AJ getting knocked out by Ruiz. You know, people were like making up stories, and then, oh, well, he had a concussion, and then, yeah, Ruiz gave him the concussion. Huh? If he had a concussion, he wouldn't have been in there. And if he did have a concussion and they put him in there and he wasn't supposed to be in there, then that's lawsuit city right there. Right? Am I right? So it's like, what the fuck you talking about? So people have to, you know, tone it back, dial it back. It's like, it's boxing. You should want to see the best fight the best. And you don't know who the best until they face each other. Sometimes more than once. A guy can have an off night. He got me tonight. I'll get him next time. Then come back and whoop that dude. I watched Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez fight 4 fights, which I thought Marquez won 3 of them. But only one he was credited with, and that was when he knocked Pacquiao the fuck out. No, there was no excuses. There was nothing that they could make up or whatever. He hit him on his chin and put him to sleep, and he got the victory he was looking for and rightfully deserved, and he went on off into the sunset and retired. And here's Pacquiao chasing behind him. Hey, can we do it one more time? Motherfucker, they done gave you like 3 decisions over me already. What are you talking about? I put your lights out, and you want to try one more time. No. That first fight they fought, he knocked Marquez down 3 times in the first round. And usually they'll stop a fight in the first round like that. But I think there was not a 3 knockdown rule in that fight, that particular fight. And he got up and won damn near every other round after that. And he lost a very close decision to Pacquiao. That was crushing because he got knocked down 3 times, but won basically the rest of the fight. And they didn't credit him to him. You know what I mean? So that's rough shit, man.
See. All right, I think probably got the audio a little bit better now.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay.
All right, yeah, see, okay, yeah. So look, going into this fight, and maybe saying this about his other fights, based on the opponents he had, it's been he been going into the fights, and it's difficult for him to find a way to impress the people. But nonetheless, he found a way to do it. The Amir Khan fight, he did it. The Jeff Horn fight, he impressed the people. Kind of manhandled. Everybody say, "Oh man, Jeff Horn going to maul him." No, he manhandled him, man. Throw him off. Um, I still, me still unsure. Like, are we even watching the right fight? Because from what me see, he easily beat Benavidez. So every one of these fights, the man found a way to impress, at least in my opinion. So that's been a challenge, not just winning a fight, which he's expected to do, but to find a way to impress. And the boy been finding a way to impress every time. So that's what me look forward to do it again. Maybe he might come out and just try to walk the man down from the jump, or you can try to get him out early. I think that might be the game plan for this fight, because if everybody say it, the man he don't belong in the ring with Crawford, he'll make it seem like the boy don't belong in the ring with him. I just know he's gonna smoke him.
He got a reputation for doing that. Remember, there was supposed to be guys way before now that was supposed to do something to him, like Lundy. Then you had Postal. Then you had the what's the African brother? It's like, dude. Okay, what does he have to do? Horn was supposed to smash him because they said Horn smashed Pacquiao, which I don't think he smashed Pacquiao, but they were like, oh, I think he's gonna be too strong for Bud.
Yeah, see, they said
Bud beat the shit out of Horn.
They said he's gonna maul him.
And then let's go to Big Dose out there. He says, I don't think it's gonna be as easy as y'all think. Mean Machine got a mean jab, and he can pop, and he's slick too. I watched one fight, and I respect the kid's skills. It's a good fight for Bud. And then he says, I'm trying to get to, because he's talking about Bud a little bit. There was another comment that he made. Oh, he's saying that BBG, he said, would you consider Ray Robinson to be a good fighter or just okay? I'm asking because I never seen him fight. But there was some other comment about Benavidez, and he said he had one leg or something. But this is what I want to say about the Benavidez fight. This shows you how good a fighter Bud is. Going into the 12th round of that fight, Benavidez had been competing with Bud and everything, but in the 12th round, Benavidez ran into something that he didn't expect. The evil that's inside Bud Crawford. Early in the fight, I think it was the side, and Bud threw this 45 punch that just whisked past Benavidez's face. And I said, whoa, he almost caught him right there. I'm watching the fight, as it was happening. In the 12th round, it was that very punch that put Benavidez in trouble, and Bud stopped him. In other words, Bud realized he was open for that shot. And in the last round of the fight, where he felt like, I don't want to go the distance, I want a KO, he went in there and got that KO. Just like Deontay when he knocked out Tyson Fury in that 12th, he finally said, fuck it, I'm going to put these punches together like I'm supposed to and put this dude on his ass. And that's what he did. Now, Benavidez was caught. He was hurt. The ref jumped in and saved him. He was KO'd in the 12th round, where he thought he was about to go the distance and possibly be on the end of some type of decision, draw, whatever it could have been, whatever. No, he got stopped. He got stopped by a world champion, a world-class fighter who has a boxing IQ. Okay, he got stopped. People don't want to give one leg. If he had one leg, he wasn't supposed to be in there. He's a fighter. Give the man credit. You don't have to like him. But when you're watching boxing and you see someone that's doing something and they're doing it well, you're just going to sit back and hate on him because he's doing it well. Or maybe he's doing it better than the fighter that you like or whatever. That doesn't take away from someone's ability. You know what I mean? You could hate the fact that they hype someone up who isn't what they hype him up to be, or he's not really true or whatever. But when somebody is good, they're good. If you don't like that, try to be better. But I've seen it. It's like when I was talking about the Earl Spence Sean Porter fight. Going into that fight, people had Earl killing Porter, putting him in the grave, retiring him, beating him up, putting him in the hospital, all types of narratives. I said this fight gonna be a lot closer than people think. I said Sean is hearing everything people talk about him. And the one thing I've never seen is I never seen nobody walk through Sean Porter. Nobody. And he's an aggressive fighter with a lot of strength, and he's in damn good top condition. Not like a lot of guys in that division. And he's a champion, a multiple-time champion. And what happened? We got one of the fights of the year. Huh? And people sitting up there saying, oh, man, you know, I had to eat a little crow. Sean was better, this or that. But you wouldn't have to eat crow if you respected the game, if you respected what people do, if you respected what they brought to the table instead of what you think. Huh? You walk outside every day, you look up at the sky is blue, got clouds up there and everything. But you want to say, just because you want to be different, the sky is gray, the sky is brown. Get the fuck out of here, man. From what scope are you looking through the lens don't like? But you have to respect their ability when they're good. And if it's not something your field, whatever you do that's good or great, you do it. And if you do it better than me or whatever, hats off to you. I don't give a damn. But it's like, I'm not going to sit up and hate on you. Like, that motherfucker over there think he, you know. Dude, that's all hater type shit. You know what I mean? You have to respect. This is boxing, man. You could see a knockout come out of nowhere. Fight be going okay. Boom, guy get hit, he out. That's it. It's like, damn, I never saw that coming. Does that mean that that guy didn't actually do what he did? Because maybe the guy who got knocked out was your guy. And you're just like, damn, you know, well, he got lucky. He got, you know, that's stupid, man. You know what I mean?
See, I'm still trying to figure out like where was the struggle in the Benavidez fight. I still don't see the team where them say the man struggle. I'm still trying to figure it out. Like where was the struggle? But see, the fight, it wasn't a struggle. It was just a dude was a counter puncher, so it just took time to really open him up, if anything. But I never seen in any point in a fight where he was struggling or, you know, just having a hard time. As the fight went on, the gap widened. I don't know. Like, I don't understand when people say he was struggling.
The funny thing about it is this. When fighters, like, say if Mean Machine comes in, right? And I don't know a lot about the guy. I haven't watched one of his fights, which is why I haven't done a pre-fight video breakdown, because I don't want to. I don't want to.
I ain't checking for nobody named Mean Machine.
Yeah, but if he comes out there and gives Crawford a good test, depending on how that goes, you give him credit for what he brings, but it's like it can happen. But do I expect Crawford to win? Yes, I do. because Bud has shown me he can win a number of ways. This guy might have knocked out a lot of guys and got TKOs and stuff like that, but there's more diversity in what Bud brings to the table. Not only is it about him being able to fight orthodox southpaw, but he can also make adjustments on the fly. Bud does something that very few fighters in the game today do, technically. He'll punch with you. He'll catch you clean. While you punching at him, he gonna knock you out. There's not a lot of fighters in the sport that do that today. There's other things he does. He'll get in there and get roughhouse with you and fight on the inside. He'll even sometimes take some shots to do certain things to you or to the opponent. There are not a lot of guys who have that in them. They're not built that way. A lot of guys like to look good, you know, don't want to be dirty, so to speak. But sometimes when you're a fighter, you got to get dirty. AJ didn't get dirty against Ruiz Jr. in that rematch. He could have, but he elected not to because Ruiz wasn't offering up anything. But it would have been mighty interesting if Ruiz had just decided to go after him and try to take his head off before the fight ended at some point. I think he could have got the same result as he got in June had he done that. But there are fighters like Bud who have a little more something in there. He's not the only one. I've been talking a lot about Jamal Charlo lately. He has that. That fight that he had against Korobov was winning some of the earlier rounds because he was distracted because his brother had lost that fight and everything. They were fighting on the same night, same card and all that. But later in the fight, when he realized these rounds are slipping away, I got to go after this guy, he damn near knocked Korobov out. He turned it up. He went to another level. Korobov was like, what the fuck is this? The fight is damn near over. This dude trying to knock me out. That's what I'm talking about. That's where there's a separation. There are some guys who can fight to a certain degree. They can take it to a certain level. Then there are other guys who can turn it up to another level. And you'd be like, damn, I thought this was only level 4. And then you taking it to level 5 or 6. That's what can happen when you have a complete fighter. Bud is a complete fighter.
The best two dudes, the best two men with that turning it up different levels, Crawford and Andre. Them are the two best men when you're talking about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have to give these guys credit for having the ability that they have. And the thing about it is not everybody wants to step in the ring with them. So it's like it's difficult for them to really show how good they are when you got guys who are considered at their level avoiding them or not negotiating for a fight with them or not fighting with them because they got a different promoter or whatever. But I come from the era when the best fought the best and guys could make deals, having different promoters and everything, and get in the ring and mix it up and let's see who's who. Felix Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya finally came together. Bob Arum and Don King made the deals. You know, De La Hoya fought under Top Rank and Trinidad fought under Don King. And when they fought, De La Hoya thought he had the recipe to defeat Trinidad. Trinidad never stopped trying to knock De La Hoya out in that fight. And in the last quarter of the fight, De La Hoya decided the last couple of rounds that he would just move around and stay out of harm's way because he thought he had rounds in the bank. But in the championship rounds, when you're supposed to close the show, he acting like that. Judges gave Trinidad the rounds because he was pursuing. And he cried after the fight saying, man, I was giving him a boxing lesson and this and that. Well, why didn't you close the show, Oscar? You won a lot of fights that you shouldn't have won, Oscar. Ike Corte, Pernell Williams. You understand? It's like, dude, you got gift decisions from fights that you weren't even supposed to win. And now here you are on the losing end because you decided to run instead of fight. Felix never stopped trying to fight. And the fact that you was moving like that, a lot like Anthony Joshua moving around Ruiz, but except for Trinidad was pursuing him and punching after him, he didn't get the decision. Nor should he have gotten the decision. And he never rematched him either. You know why? Because he was like, I ain't going to go in there and risk everything and let him knock me the fuck out. Because that's what Trinidad was doing to people, knocking them the fuck out. He even put Sweet Pea on his ass when Sweet Pea was fading as an old aging fighter. But just being able to put Sweet Pea down like he did with a straight shot, that lets you know that Trinidad wasn't bullshitting. He was for real. And you can better believe when he fought Bernard Hopkins was probably, his sensories were probably dialed on 100 because he wasn't going to get caught with that stuff that Trinidad was catching people with. You had to respect the man's skills. And see, that's what's happening. People don't respect these fighters' skills. They bring it and they put it on the line. You know, when they want to prove to be the best or considered one of the best, they put it on the line. Just sitting back under a promoter's banner and, you know, on different sides of the street and all that's not going to prove anything to anyone.
Yeah, I done seen some fights where men think, you know, they believe they up, which they rightfully were, and just blew it by just doing this thing where you just, you know, you run around at the end. You remember this fight, Jermaine Taylor versus Winky, right? Winky did the same thing, and that's how they took the W from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, yeah, so yeah,
see,
you know,
Winky Wright was the type of fighter. De La Hoya wasn't gonna fight him.
They was around, you know, the same weight for most of their career. They was right there.
But see, Winky was that type of fighter that could beat De La Hoya. You understand? And he, because of his skills, because of his boxing IQ, because of his style. And again, Winky didn't have no great big punch, but he made Felix look like an amateur. If he could do that to Felix, what could he do to De La Hoya? Never know, because they never fought. But those are the type of fighters that, De La Hoya avoided. The only reason he thought that the only reason he took the fight with Trinidad is because he thought that with that game plan he had, that was all he needed to do. Stick and move, stay away. Nah. You see how Bernard Hopkins fought Trinidad? That's what it was going to take. You understand? You have to box him, you have to outbox him, you have to outfight him. You don't just fight him through the straight fight, but you tactically do things to him. And when by the time Bernard had broken him down and put him down, you know, Tito's dad was in there trying to wave the fight off. It was over.
See. Yeah, man, I'm just sitting over here thinking about some of those fights, like the early 2000s and stuff now that we talking about them. Yeah, there was some good fights. That whole little mix up. You know, Whitaker was around. He didn't fight Whitaker. That was, Forrest, Vernon Forrest. That's another one who was around. He didn't mix it up with him.
Shout out to my man Big Dose. I know I was talking for a minute, but I just caught one of his chat comments. He says, I was one of them, Stormybman, so tell me you never say that Wilder is gonna knock someone out. Listen, Big Dose, why are you taking it personal, bro? This is not personal. It's not about what I think, what you think, or whatever. We're having boxing conversation and open mic talk here. You don't have to agree with what I have to say, but I will say this. If I feel that Deontay Wilder is going to knock anyone out, I could stand on the merits of why I feel that way by breaking it down for you. But it's not about me just, oh, I'm rolling with Wilder because I like Wilder. Okay? It's because I'm looking at it from a different vantage point. I break fights down tactically or whatever from a coach perspective, and I can do that. But Wilder basically knocks people out because he got some freakish unknown power that we ain't ever seen before. And it's gonna be hell for one man to stand in there from 1 to 12 and that final bell ring without getting hit real good one time and keeping his consciousness, you see? So that's what I had to say about that, you know. But Wilder knocks people out. Give you an example, Big Dose. In 42 fights, never in heavyweight history has there been a champion that has put every single opponent he's faced on the canvas. Never. Check your history books. The heavyweight champion in 42 fights. Now, no, we ain't talking about guys who have had less than 40 fights or whatever and this and that. We're talking about 42 fights because that's what he's had. In history of heavyweight champions, has there been one man who make every single dude he face touch the canvas, if not touch unconscious land? Huh? That's special. And now this man is into and beyond 10 title defenses. What do you see on the horizon? I see more knockouts until somebody solve that puzzle. And that's going to be a hell of a puzzle to solve, man, because you got to stay conscious. What do you think? I see D-Style is out there. What's up with you, D-Style? He's asking you, Hyphy. He's saying, is that real that he had a seizure for real?
Hey, you wake up and it might be real.
Yeah. And Big Dose says, I'm not taking it personal. I thought that was a question for my brother. No, you know, like I said, bro, we have conversation, man. I'm not trying to, you know, I ain't trying to slam nobody or try to embarrass nobody or nothing like that. I'm just talking about, you know, the X's and O's, bro. That's what I do. And if it come across like I was trying to, you know, put you in a box or something like that, no, not at all. But when I was talking about Bud Crawford earlier and saying what I was saying about him, there's a lot of people who like other fighters in that weight class. And because they like the other fighters, they don't give him his credit or just due. But if the fighter that they liked didn't exist in that division, and Hyphy has said this many a times, you guys would be supporting Bud. And it's funny because he's a good fighter, but it's like nobody wants to give him that respect because they like other people. It's not even like Deontay Wilder being a good fighter, but AJ is not necessarily on that level, but people just like AJ because of his popularity, maybe his looks, his muscles or some shit, or the hype train that drives him. But it's like Deontay is over here knocking people the fuck out. And don't nobody want to support that or give love to that. In all the years that Floyd Mayweather was around, they was like, man, we need to see somebody knock somebody out. Floyd just hits and run and blah, blah, blah. Well, you got a man that's knocking people the fuck out. So why are you complaining now? Why are you still, you know, looking in a different direction? And he's a people person. He'll come up to you and talk to you and give you a hug like you a brother and give you a pound and talk to you, have a conversation with you. That's a people's champion right there. And you guys don't even accept that. So, you know, again, as I said about Bud, his way of handling and dealing with his people, I don't like that. I don't particularly care for that. But as far as what he does in the ring, I respect the hell out of it. He reminds me of some fighters from old school. And as soon as one of these other guys get in the ring with him, and I'm not saying he ain't getting in the ring with them or they ain't getting in the ring with him. I'm just saying until they fight, you won't really know how good he is until he fights those guys. But I know how good he is because I've overseen his talent and I've overseen how he's gone about his business in the ring. I'll go back to the Amir Khan fight. People were talking about that. Oh, I could see him outboxing Bud for about the first 7 or 8 rounds, and then I could see Bud catching him with something. Bud caught him in the first fucking round. Soon as Amir was trying to throw that little, he caught a in between and found his ass on the canvas.
Hey, that nigga collapsed. That nigga collapsed like a fucking chair.
Dude, it was ridiculous because at that moment, Hyphy, Amir knew he couldn't win. You know why? Because he punched in the exchange with the guy, and the guy never expected that because it never happened to him before. Every other time that Amir got knocked out, he got caught with a shot clean from like a distance or a counter or something like that. Bud punched with his ass. That's a risk that most people don't take. When Khan, with his fast hands, fire his combinations, guys either move out of the way or cover up. Bud fucking threw with him because Bud got fast hands. Again, another oversight that people didn't give him credit for. Hand speed. When he knocked out Ndongo, which I couldn't think of Ndongo's name a moment ago when I said the African brother. When he knocked out Ndongo, how'd he do it? Punching with him. Ndongo fired some shots and Bud threw a solar plexus shot at the same time. And when you're throwing, you know you breathe out, right? So he got hit with the solar plexus shot that took all the air out of his lungs. He couldn't fucking breathe. He couldn't continue to fight because it takes you at least 15 to 20 seconds to get your wind back when you get hit like that. That's why when guys in football get tackled and they fall on the ball, the guy got to go off the field till he get his wind back and come back in for another play. You think he hurt and injured, he just can't fucking breathe for like a minute, and then he's all right after that. It's the same principle. I mean, go ahead, Hypey.
Some dudes, all right, because we all, look at Amir Khan. Oh, he put these combinations together. Oh, he's such blaze and hand speed. All right, now Crawford might not be as fast as him, hand speed wise, but these dudes, they smart. And Wilder is the same way. You explosive, so you could throw just one. You have one punch, and you could be really explosive with that one punch. That's what Floyd was. Floyd had a quick first step type. Roy Jones was the best at it, but you got a quick first step. Just one punch coming fast, that's enough to make mans hold up and hesitate. Like, oh, some fast coming, one punch, and that's what Bud was also implementing. So all that, blazing, throwing combos and stuff like that slowed down, or Khan was hesitant from all that stuff. But yeah, that man folded like a lawn chair, man. Like, yeah, it's like you kick the legs off a table, it just collapsed.
I know it's funny because you and I talked about that. We were like laughing because of how people were putting, Khan in a certain place of competing with him, and we were like, after Khan lost, then he's a bum, he's washed up, and this and that. But they weren't saying that before the fight. Now they weren't saying it. They were saying he got a China chin, and eventually Bud gonna catch him. But they were giving him rounds against Bud. They were giving him the fight against Bud until Bud caught him. Right?
Hey, I heard mans all around the LDBC. You know how I think the fight gonna play out? It's gonna be like this. Khan, he gonna come out, he gonna win like the first 4 rounds. He gonna be winning the fight after the 6 rounds. And then Bud, he gonna get closer and closer, and then he gonna catch him in the end. That's what all mans was saying.
Mm-hmm. We saw that for like, man, that was the talk of the town. And as soon as that dude got beat up and fucking Virgil Hunter bailed him out, because he didn't want to go on. I'm telling you, after that knockdown in the first round, he was ready to quit right then. But he continued. And then, you know, that punch that was on the thigh and everything, it was like he act like he got hit in the balls. I mean, come on, man. You know? And then did you see him after the fight, bro? He looked like he had been caught in the alley by a few dudes. His
Hey,
face was all marked up and everything. I was like, damn, he's fucked up. That's why he didn't want to continue.
at the position he was in his career, when everybody looking at, oh, you know, this might be Amir's last chance, you don't go out like that. If you really trying to save your career, you don't go out like that. Boy, you'll get back up and come. You know, you'll be out there fighting for your life. If you really feel like, hey, this the last hurrah in my career. So come on, man. That boy checked out mentally. We don't care what him say. Stupid humble clot.
No. Big Doe said, he says, who was doing that? Now, I did hear Hyphy just said, but I didn't hear nobody say that Khan would win. Big Doe, they were saying that Khan was going to be ahead by the time Bud finally caught up to him after several rounds. But Bud caught him in the first round. The fight was over at that moment for me. I laughed. I remember when I was watching it live, and when Khan collapsed, I jumped up out my chair laughing and saying, oh, this shit is over. Because he got to him. It was like Bud heard everything people was talking about. And he put hands on him right away. But he did the same thing in the Jeff Horn fight. He did the same thing in the Benavidez fight. Okay? Now remember, you guys are out here talking right now about Mean Machine, right? Oh, he's a good fighter, and I think he's going to give him a hard go and this and that. We'll be talking Saturday night and probably be repeating what we were saying tonight right now, because this is a fighter who relishes those moments, all the disrespect, all the credit he don't get, all of the criticism that he receives and everything. He takes it out on those guys in the ring. But you can't see that because you're looking at, oh, he little. Oh, but who has he fought? In the meantime, bodies and victories are mounting up behind him. You know, remember, guys have to come together to fight. He can fight whoever can fight him. You got to put it together. But I believe that once it happens, it's going to be on. It's going to be on and popping. And it's going to be everything that you want or everything that you don't want. Because especially if your guy is getting his ass whooped, of course you ain't going to want that. So, but I know that this young man, he's special. But it's a lot of people out here, man. And it's like they just don't want to give that credit. Just like wasn't nobody giving Sean Porter credit. I'm like, Sean Porter can fight, man. He is a fighter. He's a champion. And they were just not giving him any credit whatsoever. I would have loved for that flash knockdown to have not taken place, because that was going to be an interesting scored fight. That flash knockdown saved it for Earl. Big time. Big time. Because when you put a guy down or nearly put him down, his hand barely touched the canvas, but it's like that kind of makes a difference. You say, oh, he got the better of him. But if they finish bell to bell and nothing like that ever happened, people will be saying, oh, we got to do it again. We got to do it again. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I thought it was still worthy of running it back.
Oh, of course, definitely. But I'm just saying that gave an excuse to just kind of shift it. You know what I mean? Without it, that fight could have been a draw. And they say, hey, we're going to have to do this again. But they felt compelled that they have to give the belts to somebody. You know? And those are the kind of things I don't like in boxing. It's like, you know, that's just like I could go back and talk about all those low blows that Earl threw in that fight that possibly took Sean's legs away late in the fight, because that shot that hit him, it might not have done what it did to him if he didn't sustain so many low blows earlier in the fight. But that's water under the bridge. You know what I mean? But he should have got at least a warning, if not a point taken away. He hit that man below the belt a lot. A lot. And I ain't never seen Earl hit people below the belt like that. But he did it to him, and he got away with it.
Well, see, that's why I say like boxing fans, even like hardcore boxing fans, are dumb, because I don't care if it was a winner in a fight. If it was a classic fight, why would you not want to see a rematch of it? You'd rather you'd rather see like this is like me for real. If you tell me right now, all right, you want to see a Wilder versus Ortiz 3 or Wilder versus AGCJ, I'm taking a part 3 because it's gonna be a better fight. Why would I want to see a fight that's not as good? Now that's just me. I know everybody else gonna be looking at me crazy, but that's what I said. Like, I don't understand these fans. Why would you not want to see the good fights? Not the fights with the most hype, the fights that are going to be the best in the ring.
I want to see guys like Tyson Fury fight people in the top 10. I want to see him fight Ortiz. I want to see him fight what's his name? Dillian White. And I want to see them guys mix it up. I don't want to see just digging guys out from the top 50 and shit. What the fuck is that? You in the top 10, but you ain't facing nobody in the top 10. Deontay and his 10 title defenses have already faced more guys in the top 10 than these guys have faced in their fucking careers. It's fucking ridiculous. And they want title shots. I mean, this shit just blows me, man.
Yeah, grabbing niggas that came from the Canadian Football League and stuff.
Look here, Hype. You got Christopher Jornay out there. He says, "Don't say that about Earl, Stormy B, man. Why not? It's telling the truth about Earl. I ain't so in love with Earl that I can't say that the man has done some flawful things out there. He wasn't throwing punches to Mikey's genitals like he did to Sean Porter, and fucking Mikey is shorter, huh? Fuck out of here. Earl was pounding the man's nuts into pancakes, and the ref never said shit. Now go back and look at the tapes. To you, Christopher Jornay, that was probably all shots above the trunks, right? Come on, man. He was pounding that man beneath his trunks, man, beneath the belt line. A lot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was a classic fight. I was fortunate to be there at ringside. Classic thing to see.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did go to that one, man.
Seeing. So it's no way you're going to get me to, say, oh, nah, we don't need to see that fight again. A class, like, bro, who's turning down a classic fight? It don't make no sense.
I'll tell you something, though. I don't know how things will shake out now. I know Earl had this serious situation, but if that fight were to take place as a rematch without Earl having this situation that he had, it would be very interesting how it would go, because personally, I think Earl would try to box more, but then if he did, I think the level and the stakes would raise higher, because Sean would understand that. You understand? So it's like, those two are just going to be Leonard and Hearns all over again until their careers are over, if they're going to face one another. I think that it's just that type of dynamic between them, because it's about what's inside of them now. It's not about I'm a champ, you a champ. It's higher than that now. And that could only get to that level because they faced each other. It wasn't to that level until the punches started flying. And see, I think both men would love to do it again. So move them fucking politics out the way and get it on. And then after they do that, fight some of these other guys out there that deserve a shot. You know, you got Bud, get him out there. Stop
And,
freezing people out and shit, and trying to make it like, oh, it's so difficult. They, it's like it's a two-way street, man.
And between them, there's just and you can understand what me said. It's a personal team between them. They still gonna try to break each other's will, and they still want to see who can break who. You see when the face off, they was talking about, oh, I got more dog. I know I got more dog than you. They still trying to see who could make the other one curl out first.
Exactly.
So
and
that make it
are what make for great fights.
They trying to make the other one curl out.
Listen, here we go with Big Dose again. I love you, Big Dose. He says, if Bud can do Porter worse than Spence did, that adds pressure on Spence to fight him. No, it don't. It don't matter who beat the other guy worse or better or least or whatever, man. Listen, check your history. Sugar Ray Leonard fought Roberto Duran, lost to him the first time. Okay, defeated him in a rematch. Sugar Ray Leonard fought Thomas Hearns, knocked him out in the 14th, 15th round. Okay, Hearns knocked out Roberto Duran in like 4 rounds. Okay, then Duran fought Hagler to 15 rounds and lost a majority draw, majority decision to Hagler, which in going into the 13th round, he was winning the fight. Then Tommy Hearns fought Hagler, and Hagler knocked him out in 3 rounds. Sugar Ray Leonard fights Hagler and beats him in a 12-round decision. How did any of that have to do with one guy fighting the other guy and making the other guy this, that, or the other? These men, they walked their destiny by taking the matches, and everything sorted itself out. There's no triangle theory, nothing. They just faced each other, and the fucking chips fell where they may. Because on paper, you could say this guy should beat this guy, or this guy I think gonna beat this guy. But until they get in there and mix it up, you have no freaking idea what's gonna happen. And that's what happened between those 4 guys. They all fought each other, and there was a different result through all of it. How could Duran against Leonard in the rematch wave his hand in the 8th round and say no mas and quit, but go 15 fucking rounds with Marvin Hagler? And everybody know the beast that Hagler was. And then how could Hearns go 3 thrilling rounds with Hagler and get beat down, but fucking knock Duran out in 4 rounds, 3 rounds? Huh? It's like, damn. And Hearns could really knock people out with that right hand he had. But then Sugar Ray knocked out Hearns. I mean, man, it's like, and Hearns put Sugar Ray Leonard down twice in their rematch. Dude, this is why you got to have the fights. You got 4 guys at that weight class that should be fighting each other. You got Earl Spence, Sean Porter, Terrence Crawford, and Danny Garcia. Actually 5, and Keith Thurman. All of those guys should be fighting each other. And I guarantee you, no one comes out of that undefeated, facing each other. Somebody going to have a loss to somebody else. That's including Bud Crawford. For y'all who think that I love Bud so much, right? I'm telling you, those 5 men, mix it up, each one fight the other. Somebody coming out of there with losses, bro, to one of the other guys.
Damn,
what do you know about that, Hype?
See, and because look, I agree with those because see me understand the type of fans we got right now. I know you talking about the whole triangle theory. That's you breaking that down, and you right on that. But what he said was like the pressure, and me understanding like how these fans work. He right. if he came out and just smoked his boots, it would put pressure from the fans. But
I'll tell you why I don't think that would be the case. The pressure from the fans. The fans ain't pressuring these guys to do shit right now. That's why they ain't doing shit. Because they ain't feeling no pressure from the fans. The fans ain't pressuring them. And the fans wouldn't pressure them if that happened. See, this is about the men having integrity, who want legacy, who want to prove to themselves, to match their wares against their contemporaries and go out there and provide themselves with something to feel great about. If they content with the money that they making and the houses that they living in and all of that, they might as well go ahead and leave the sport right now, because you can only have so much of the material, right? But there's always a hungrier guy coming up. So if you got those things, go sit your ass down somewhere. If you want to make legacy, then you start throwing your hat into the fire. That's what it's about, man. This is boxing. This is warriors, okay? It's and shit. You sitting up, well, I got these, got these cars, I got these homes, I got this bling, I got this. All that shit can be taken away. How many fighters? Holyfield had like a $20 or $30 million mansion. Who living in it now? One of them damn entertainers, songwriters or whatever, living in there now. $30 million mansion. Who the fuck needs a $30 million mansion? Huh? Material shit. But your legacy in the ring will stand forever. Holyfield had that home for a short time, but he's got his legacy of what he done in the ring for a lifetime and beyond. People always remember them, talk about that. Mike Tyson had tigers and shit. But it's what you do in the ring. That's what counts. That's what people want to see.
Okay, yeah. See, I feel you on that one. Now, would you say it at least makes it more interesting? Let me remind you what we're talking about. If he just come out and just like clearly just, let's just say outbox, clearly win a decision over Porter.
No, because check this out. A common opponent, Kell Brook. Kell Brook outboxed Sean Porter, right? And took his title away from him. Earl Spence goes over there and dominates Kell Brook, takes the title away from him. Then when Earl Spence fought Sean Porter, it was fucking life and death. So what does that mean? It don't mean shit. It just means that when two guys get in there, you don't know until they get in there. Who would have known? I told you, people was putting they was putting flowers near the headstone and everything for Sean before the fight. Then afterwards, everybody was like, "Damn, that was a good fight." Like they couldn't have a good fight before that or some shit. What are you looking at? This is why I say the things that I say, because I don't look at it the same way as everybody else look at it. It's very easy to get caught up in what you like, but what you like may not serve the greater overall of what can be or what is. Because it's like, how many times you think it's gonna go one way and it goes another way that you never even fucking fathom, and it's like, wow. But see, when that happens, that's what's supposed to open up your perspective to what can happen in the fucking future. But people don't do that. They don't file that in the memory bank and leave it open for consideration down the line. They just still follow that who they like, huh? And then they get, as we say out here on the airways, we eating crow. You wouldn't be eating so much crow if you just took that moment out and used sensibility and be like, now, when I saw something like this before, this is what happened or whatever. So, you know what? I'm going to say, make this assessment and go this way. that's like sound judgment. That's like having read some history and learn what has happened in the past and know that you have a more solid foundation as you walk towards your future. Consideration of options, things that you can look and have a different take on or whatever. Most people don't do that. Some people are still blind and think somebody else won a fight a couple years ago. And, you know, the decisions are in the books. He said, my man, Big Dose, he says, so Porter should wait on Earl or go fight Crawford or what? I'm confused. He says, I didn't say triangle theory, Stormy B, man. I never said if Crawford beats Porter more convincingly, that means Crawford will win. I'm talking about putting pressure on Spence to fight Crawford. Yeah, I understand that. That's what I just broke down. And he says, you don't want to see Porter versus Bud? If not, why not? That's protectionist thinking. Now that you've asked me that question, I'll answer it. No, I think that they should fight. I don't think that Bud should duck Porter or Porter not fight Bud. They're the top guys in the division. It's like they should be fighting each other. And I have no guarantee right now who wins what because I haven't been put in a position to break those down yet. But as soon as they make that announcement that they're going to fight each other, of course, I'm going to be like, yeah, let's see them mix it up. The one thing you will never hear me say is I don't like this fight or that fight because someone is popular, and it could be somebody is their opponent. You know, it doesn't make sense to me. I want best people fighting the best people, and then go clean up the rest of the bums after they fought each other. That's all. He says, it's like you saying the only person Bud should fight is Spence. What about the other top welterweights? Okay, I just said that without even reading it. But Hyphy, let me ask you, bro. Have I said that Bud should only fight Spence?
No. I mean, that'd be crazy to say, you know, because if you got to say one, then you got to say it the other way also.
Right.
If that's the case.
But, I mean, you see, I think I'm being put in a box here when I'm way outside of the box. I don't exist within the box. He says everybody got favorite fighter, Stormy V, man. This is sports, bro. When a fight starts, if you have a favorite fighter in the fight, you're going to think that your fighter is going to do good, right? No, that's not true. Because look at AJ fans. When they don't want him to fight certain fighters because they know what's going to fucking happen. That's your example right there. Guys who don't want to see certain fights because they know certain outcomes are going to be to their disliking. That's it right there. That ain't me. You know, I like Wilder. And if he fought AJ and AJ beat Wilder, I'd be like, damn, that's fucked up. I thought Wilder was going to win or whatever. But it's blasphemous to even say that because AJ ain't going to beat Wilder. He ain't. He going to get knocked the fuck out too. Shit. Shadow 979 is out. He says, salute Stormy B, man. Salute to you, Shadow 9.
Big up, man, like Shadow.
Huh?
I'm gonna say big up, man, like Shadow. Let me see he come through. Big ups.
But this is great conversation because believe it or not, for all the brothers that's listening in the chat and everything, I'm not upset at all. I speak passionately about the sport. I get excited about it. But man, I don't have a problem with people voicing their opinion or whatever. I just be trying to say, like, man, if you're looking at something only from the position that you like, you will not necessarily be able to take in the total picture of what can happen or whatever. That's all, you know. And that goes back to when I initially started talking about Mean Machine's trainer, and he was talking about how they studied Bud and this and that, and You know, they think that they're gonna do some things. And I spoke at that time. I was saying that, you know, it's funny how these guys, these trainers, will look at fighters but not give the credit to the other fighter about what, you know, what they bring. That don't mean you have to kiss his ass, but you acknowledge it that, oh, this guy's gonna be, you know, he's gonna be a tough cookie. Even if you don't think he's gonna be a tough cookie, say that shit publicly. You understand? It's like it sells the fight for you. You know, you're like, oh, we're gonna whoop his ass in 2 rounds. Okay, why should I tune in then? Why should I spend my money on a ticket with it? It's gonna be a whitewash like that. I don't need to watch it. I could go do something else. So it's like that's where you be more, you know, into being more diplomatic about matters, you know.
Hey, well, from what I seen on Dante's Boxing Nation, they say after you get done with Mean Machine, he gonna smoke Canelo. What's up with that?
But I also heard him say he just said that because he knew the people were gonna take it and run with it. So, you know, I guess he's trying to do a little, throw some shit out there to, you know, just get sound bites and shit. But I did hear him say that he only said that in front of the media to get them stirred up and buzzing. So
that's disappointing, actually. That's my first time hearing that.
Yeah, I actually caught that just before I caught D-Style stream tonight. That's what I caught him saying on the I think that was, he was sitting down with, it might have been Fight Hype. He was talking to Fight Hype. So Big Doe says that's why AJ will never fight Wilder. So AJ fans will be thinking he will do good against White, Usyk, and Chisora. No, AJ, what he needs to do is fight fighters who are going to test him and bring him through to where he can graduate to another level. Just fighting guys that you can beat on paper and guys that you can actually have the advantages on in live action. It's like there's no learning process to that, especially if you don't have good teachers in your corner. See, he's got cornermen who ridden with him, you know, up to this point, but I don't think AJ has improved since he had become champion. He might have receded. Christopher Journet says, I'm going to catch up with you tomorrow, Stormybman. Peace to the chat. Salute Hyphy and Shadow 979. All right, Christopher Journet, appreciate you, bro. And thanks again for the PayPal donation, man. Appreciate you. Have a good night. So
yeah, like yeah, like I texted you earlier, because you know, like you obviously know, you may not see that fight, but like I said, from everything I've heard, it just sounds like it ain't like he went out there and showed that he could beat the man. He just survived 12 rounds, and that was all you needed to do to get the win.
yeah, man, it's really weird how he took that fight. It's really weird.
That sound like what was that dude that Lennox knocked out? Was it Michael Grant? Remember him?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, now Lennox ruined him when he knocked him out. He ruined him mentally. The dude, he continued to fight, but he was never, like he never looked like a real fighter after that. To me, it sound that's how it could be. It sound like that.
Hey, I want to take a moment and acknowledge El Foul Player, if he's still in the chat. That email that he sent me just came through. And all this time, the email it wasn't there. It just came through. So I'm sorry if he's out there and I missed the opportunity to bring him on. I did not do that on purpose. The email just came through. So salute to El Foul Player. Early in the conversation, I asked him to send me his email so I could send him a link to come on. I hate that happened like that. Plus, he sent it to my In the Eye of the Storm email, which that one, for whatever reason, the emails come through slow. You can send it to my Gmail next time, but sorry about that. What else we got here? Big Doe says, great conversation at Stormybman. Yeah, man, great conversation with you too, bro. I appreciate your contribution. So if anybody got anything else they want us to touch on real quick, we could get ready to wrap this up. I know Hyphy he's a night owl, so he might want to get on to do some other things. You got something else to say, Hyphy? You want to leave us with something?
Nah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna watch the fight this weekend. I know it's not a fight. I haven't seen any promotion. I said this earlier this week. Like, you know how you be having avatars, like images floating around. I still haven't seen even an image of these two dudes like face to face or nothing. So I ain't seen no type of promotion or anything, but nonetheless, I'm still gonna look for the fight and watch it. I'm one of the few people, I guess, that bought his last fight, the pay-per-view. I paid pay-per-view for it, so I'm definitely gonna watch it. I don't know if there's at least one good undercard fight, but yeah, I'm gonna watch the whole thing, and I'll just have my own assessment after the night ends.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it too, but I know that the critics are gonna be waiting on something to take place, so they'll have something to pull apart or whatever. If it don't take place within a few rounds, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, but that's okay, because this is boxing, man. You're not a fan of the sport if you don't want to tune in and watch some fights. And I'll say this too. If Bud get tested, that's a good thing. I don't think this guy gonna win, but if he's tested, that's a good thing.
Nah, I'll do you one better on that. I will bet like it don't even like whatever amount somebody want to put up. I will bet whatever type of figures you trying to talk, this dude will not win a single round. I'm confident there's not going to be a single 5-second or 10-second moment of the fight where you're going to look at it and say, hey, he getting the best of Crawford. No, it's not going to happen. This dude about to get smoked. He about to get smoked.
Hey, Victor says, what y'all feel about Charlo saying that Andrade ain't worth it, but it's a unification fight? What you got on that one, Hyphy?
Oh yeah, see, I did catch that. Because that was like sometime last month, I believe, when Andre finally responded to him, and he said, he ain't worth it. So it made him look kind of funny. And then now they names being attached to each other again and everything. I think it's a situation where both of them dudes, they look at each other like they tough fight. So I think it's a situation where if they both reward it how they want to be, I think they'll both take it. But shit, I got it. How I feel, it's not popular, but I say I don't want to see them fight, because why do they got to fight each other when Canelo could just, breeze through? And, these two dudes, out of all the dudes you could fight, these are two dudes that's not getting picked. So he could avoid them, but they got to fight each other. No, I'm not with that. Let them do the same thing Canelo doing.
Yeah, I think it also could be a case of, when they talk at each other like that, it could be more of, you know, hyping and building each other up because ain't nobody else doing it. You know what I mean?
Smart
And
forward.
when people are threats, and the two of them are threats to others out there like Triple G, Canelo, Billy Joe, you know, the other complexion fellas who don't want to mix it up with these guys, then, you know, when they say these things and start, you know, it starts stoking the flames for interest. But you want to maximize also your economic means in this. And you know who the cash cows are. Cash cows are Triple G and Canelo. And they keeping those two guys away from these other talents in the division. That's what I think really sucks about the sport. That you trying to keep these men safe from ass whoopings that they deservingly need to go through because they're in the sport. Nobody gets off scot clean. That's why Canelo, he gonna keep bouncing around and somebody gonna bounce his ass on the canvas because you keep on. It'll come from where you least expect it. Huh? People least expected Ruiz this year too, didn't they? They least expected Julian J. Rock, didn't they? And a host of others during this year of upsets. Huh? That's what happens when you keep going around thinking that you know, catch me if you can, you know, that bullshit. And sooner or later somebody catch your ass.
Yeah, because it gotta come to some point where where, you know, just even the haters, even they gotta say, all right, like who else is it that them two dudes could fight? As far as, you know, Triple G and Canelo, they gotta fight at least one of the brothers. You know, it gotta come to some type of point eventually. And so my thing, if I'm them too, I hope they just sit back and don't fight each other. Just you know, sit back and keep doing your thing. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying just, you know, keep chasing Canelo. You ain't got to be running around, you know, just constantly saying his name and all of that. You already know you're a top dog. Every hardcore, even if you're a hater, every hardcore boxing fan already know them two dudes is top dogs. They just got to continue, you know, stay where they at and just let the fans, you know, finally get to the point where they just, you know, force them fights to come through.
Man, you know what? I'm listening to you talk. I'm listening. I just looked at your name on the thing and it said Crawford smokes Canelo 9-3.
Oh yeah, that's why I had to come and ask you about that.
I wasn't even paying attention to that, man. And I just now looked at it. I'm like, man, this guy's funny as hell.
I think that's a bad. I mean, it's just a fight where you'll see that movement come into play, and then it, you know, y'all seen before when he in front of somebody who got movement, that'd be the factor that'll come into play again. Crawford will put that movement on him.
Hey, like you said, Deontay say, speak it, believe it, and receive it.
That's my thing. I got him beating Canelo.
Wow, man. Well, I guess we can get ready to close it down, bro. We've been on here for a little bit. I want to say I appreciate you joining me on here for this good conversation. I appreciate Big Dose holding up the conversation from the chat point of view. Appreciate those contributions, man. And everybody else that's out there in the chat. Christopher Jornay, who left us, Shadow 9, who came in a little late, and D-Style, Boxing Conversation with Reggie Owens, St. Cruising, and BBG. Who else we had out there? I think we had somebody else out there early on.
Yeah, big ups, man. Like Big Dose and Shadow and BBG.
And L File Player too. I sorry that I missed his email that it came in. It didn't come in right away. So, but we'll get him on next time. But yeah, Hyphy, man. Yeah, you got your channel and stuff up and going now. You want to tell people where they could follow you?
Oh yeah, I got some interesting stuff. I'm gonna just say if you looking like to get more input on boxing, yeah, just don't come to my channel. That's all I am gonna say. You know, yeah, Shadow 9, he know what's up. I really don't got no description or I can't categorize it, but just know it's I'm just not trying to, you know, do the same thing as everybody else. We just kick it on my channel and that's it. So you never know what you'll see.
That's good stuff though, man. You know what I mean? Because everybody, you know, need to do their thing. Do you, man? You know, you gotta have your niche. You know what I mean? Look at that legendary Topcats coming in. Turn up in this motherfucker. What's good with you?
Turn up. Shit, even I'm over here about to pass out. Ain't no turn up.
Yeah. Legendary, we're about to shut it down, man. I don't know if you was just listening, but yeah, we're about to close it out. We've been on here about 2.5 hours, bro. But next time we'll get you on here with us. So Big Doe says, Hyphy, I like that dude you hit me up on too, talking about the credit report and the other dude's channel. That was dope.
Oh yeah, big up. Yeah, bless up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man. This has been a great conversation. Again, like I said, I don't usually do StreamYard, but this is my second time doing a StreamYard. I wasn't even sure if anybody was gonna come on with me because I sent several links out, but at least I got my man Reggie Owens and Hyphy to come on here with me to share some conversation. Look at it. Legendary say, wake y'all ass up. Party at Stormy B-Man's house. No, man. Stormy B-Man about to shut it down. You know, y'all go on over there with Legendary because he can keep the nightlight on for you over there and burn that hot oil. So I can't fool with that mess, man.
Yeah.
But no, man, this has been a great conversation. I want to say shout out to the LDBC, you know, and everybody that came in the chat with us this night, man. It's been great. Check those fights out this evening. I mean, we got on ESPN. There's some matches coming up this weekend too on Saturday night, and I got the Friday night chop session with Stormy B-Man at 8 Central this evening coming up. So that's all I got for you guys. We're going to check on out of here. Everybody have a good night. And Legendary says, I'll drop the colors after this then. Yeah. So y'all can go on over to Legendary because he going to have it jumping over there. He always got some fire music playing over there too. So you check him out. Mm-hmm. Stormy B-Man, I'm going to say peace out to everybody. Good night.
Already. Outro.
All right.